Hey everyone, welcome back. The next installment of Dubbed. Drink Up, Burn Down, Paul Horn, Steve Kwan, Chad Narani. We have a fun discussion today. Paul, kick us off with that quote that you found.
Fun discussion is an interesting way of putting that. Today we'll be walking that line of controversial, so bear with us today and just keep in mind what we're talking about here is going to be facts and just basic opinions. These are not a comment on the greater discussion around lgbtq or anything like that, okay? But where this all kind of started from is I found a tweet from Caitlyn Jenner yesterday that says it worked. I took a lot of heat, but what's fair is fair. If you're going through male puberty, you should not be able to take away medals from females, period. And Caitlyn was referencing an article that just came out in the New York Post that Leah Thomas was banned as FINA, F-I-N-A, votes to restrict transgender women from competitions. So the discussion today is it right or is it fair for transgender athletes to compete in the sport that they've transitioned to?
So let's have a little bit of fun before we get into that one, guys. So what are we drinking today? We're doing what I call a fresca margarita. Paul calls it
Ranch water.
ranch water. Basically, a shot of tequila, some fresh squeezed lime, and then just some seltzer water on top. You get rid of all the sugar and all that other nonsense in a margarita. Honestly, I think it's fantastic. It's just a really easy way to get some tequila flavor, a little bit of lime. I made a little light for us today. We all do got to drive home at some point. Only one shot of tequila, though usually it's two. And Quan, what are we smoking with
I don't
this
care
one?
if it's 3 shots, guys. It tastes like crap. It does not taste
Obviously, he
good.
has a sweet tooth,
But
not sugar.
I don't have a sweet tooth at all. But that's just weird. It's okay though because I just need to, get keep myself from being thirsty.
It just
But-
it tastes like a homemade seltzer is what it reminds me of. It tastes like.
Exactly, with tequila. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Today we're smoking a Jaime Garcia. It's another Nicaraguan cigar, and what I like about this is it has a full Nicaraguan filler and also binder, but it's also complemented by a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, and I think it does very, very well. It's one of my favorite cigars, especially when I'm on the golf course, which I originally started smoking these at a golf course. A buddy of mine gave me one, and I became hooked ever since. And so, but it's
So
funny
Jaime
because
Garcia or Jaime Garcia?
that's exactly what I was saying. Is it Jamie or Jaime? That's going to be up to you guys. But to Paul's point, today I couldn't help to notice on the news that there were a lot of things going on in the swimming world, and apparently a ruling came down, and we're at a point now where people are drawing the sand or the line on the sand, and rules are starting to form for where to place certain athletes. And so we would really like your opinion on this. I think that this is a valid point because there are some that are competing at a higher level because of their genetics. And, I'm kind of torn between the two, to be quite honest. If you're a female athlete, would you be okay with competing with somebody who has transformed to a woman, taken all the necessary requirements to fulfill the needs to actually become a woman? And I think that's where the sports world is today, especially in the swimming. You guys have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I have a lot of them. I think that Steve's last comment, transition, taking all the things to become a woman. Does that mean you lost the physical capabilities that you had as a man? And it's not to say that men are typically stronger, right? We know there's bodybuilders, females that are remarkably strong compared to the male counterparts. Myself, I'm not known as a very strong man, but I'm not trying to build a ton of muscle and compete in professional sports. But I think you look at the NBA, and I think that I don't know that there's any female in the WNBA that could compete at a superstar level in the NBA. Not that the best in the WNBA could not compete in the NBA, but they wouldn't be considered superstars, at least in my opinion. And I think it's a big thing, right? So should the NBA allow them? 100%. I think all of professional sports should allow both sexes. And if you can compete and be a superstar and you want to compete and be a superstar, Major League Baseball, NFL, right, NBA, all of them should allow. Golf too, right? If a female golfer from the WPGA wants to compete on the men's tour, she should. But she needs to be able to tee off from the same tee box and play at the exact same level right? And make it fair across the board. And I think they should. Like college football, there's females that kick in men's college football, right? But it's a role that a female can kick. You can kick 50 yards, kick 50 yards. That's what a kicker needs to be able to do. And I think that's where the big debate comes into is I don't know that we've seen an example to date of a female that transitioned to a male and then was a superstar in men's sports, right? It's always seems to be a man that transitions to a female and then goes and competes as the best ever and like breaking records in a female sport.
Well,
That's a hard one.
When you said WPGA, I thought that was a wrestling. He meant to say LPGA.
LPGA. Women's PGA.
I like wrestling.
Ladies
Whoa,
PGA,
wait,
like,
that's actually
That shows
interesting.
how knowledgeable he is on the subject. Everything you know is right there. So it's interesting because the ruling that was made in the swimming was you can compete if you transitioned before the age of 12. Their argument kind of is if you transitioned after 12, then you may have some biological advantages. And so I think that's kind of where they're coming from on that. You know, to say it's right or wrong is a really difficult call, but it certainly is an interesting topic for discussion because this is new territory that we're in. And it's interesting because irregardless of your background, everybody has a different viewpoint on this. You know,
Exactly. And the point that I kind of scratched my beard on, I should have said my head, but is what happens to those athletes that make the transition after 12? I mean, where do they fall into? And so, you know, you just certainly can't leave them out. And so the question really is, well, you know, I mean, where can they compete? And what if it's like 12 years and 1 month, right? I mean, is there sort of a grace period or, you know, whatnot? I don't know. This is kind of giving me pause a little bit in terms of like what is right and what is fair. But, you know, you certainly want to protect the integrity of this, you know, of the women's sport because look at all the records that's been set, right? And, I mean, you know, can those be wiped out, you know, because there aren't any laws? And I think people are making the right points right now. I'm not sure how. I mean, it's very fragmented, in my opinion. Maybe because it's right now new, but it's happening.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things like we don't have a solution, right? And I hate when people bring like problems without solutions. And we don't have a solution to this, but yeah, I don't think any of us are trying to make a point on our opinion on whether you should be like LGBTQ plus. Like, I have no problems with any of the above. Like, if you do your own thing, right? It doesn't harm me. Do your own thing. But I think from the fairness of sports, it is a relevant topic to be completely honest.
Although I would like to see LeBron change into a woman and score 900 points a game. That'd be funny.
It would, but if that's the topic at hand, is like, is it fair? And it's like it's just a hard one.
And at the end of the day, you know, we're not trying to present solutions here. I think what we're trying to do more than anything else is encourage people to have rational conversations about this and other topics because too often people have strong emotional ties to these topics and get really heated and can't see past their own anger and their own feelings. And so having these rational conversations like this with other individuals, I think is going to help form a more coherent agreement in terms of a long-term solution for this.
I think eventually they'll have their own categories, you know, and group in terms of transgender sports and competing amongst, you know, in that realm. I think that'd be kind of neat to watch.
I mean, we were just having this conversation earlier, right? They have Paralympics, right, for you know, people with certain disabilities, and which is also a tricky one, right? I mean, you have people that are now running the marathon with prosthetic legs, right? It's remarkably awesome to watch somebody that went through trauma, had lost both legs, is able to come back and go through all that and run the Boston Marathon. That's amazing, but you're getting to the point where prosthetics are another big area like this, where it's basically a robot running. Like, it's nuts type of topic that we're in the sporting world today. All right, guys. Any last closing remarks on this topic before we round this thing out?
I want to say I'm excited to kind of stay tuned on this because, you know, there's going to be some radical discussions about it, and all around the world for that matter. And, you know, we're kind of living history right now.
Yeah, like imagine this has got to become, at some point, it's going to be a global consensus, right? Like, This is going to extend all the way to the Olympics, which is not a U.S. issue, right? This is going to become a global issue as far as the Olympics are concerned and winter sports are concerned. Like every country is going to have to get on board with some set of rules at some point.
And this is what we live for, is controversial stuff like this that we can discuss and say, wow, that they do have a point.
Just want to hear all sides, right? That's what we do. That's literally what we do. Cigars, cocktails, and debate. All topics. I love it. Gentlemen,
Cool.
Let's do that cocktail. Let's do that cigar.
All right.
Salud.
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 Drink up.
Burn
Burn
down.
Hey everyone, so real quick, we just want to call to action. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Right, we are trying to bring some pretty controversial topics, fun drinks, fun cigars. But if something you like, let us know.
And more importantly, we're trying to bring cigar lovers and people who like adult type beverages together in a conversation where we can all benefit from opinions and, really express yourself.
Look, we can all agree that this world's gone batshit crazy, and it is harder to find genuine, authentic conversations. That is what we're trying to bring to the table. If you see value in that, if you've made it this far and you're watching this, you probably see value in that. So please hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If there's anyone that you know that might benefit from these, please share the video. And
You won't always agree with us. You won't always disagree with us. But we're here to have a conversation.
Yep.
But it's meant to be a conversation with you, the viewers. So please let us know your thoughts. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Thank you so much.